Good morning, and today's going to be pocket sixes. We are in early position. We open raise, and we get two callers. We get a late position caller and a blind caller. So my range, pretty standard. This player's playing 38-22 with 27% 3-bet range. Looks to be aggressive, looks to be loose. Could also be just getting hit with cards. We have 3-bet range, 4-bet range is kings. So it looks like he said kings twice in this session. And that's definitely gonna mess with our stats. When you look at where he's playing, button 5 out of 5, raise first in 4 out of 5, small blind 2 out of 5, big blind 2 out of 4, cutoffs 1 out of 4, which is what he's in right now. 3-bet, he's 3-bet 1 out of 3 times. He called 2-bet 0 out of 3. So I think at this point, he looks loose, but he's not crazy. So I'm gonna say this might be his raising range. Maybe he has a much wider 3-bet than what we're seeing, but we know that he has a 3-bet range of kings, and he had a 4-bet range of kings. And this 3-bet's only 3 out of 11, so one of them was kings. We don't know what the other two hands were. So I think we're gonna go with like one of these pocket pairs, some suited connectors, suited broadways, these two offsuit broadways, suited aces. This guy's playing 57%. This is over 14 hands, over half the hands he's played. I think he's just calling because he has, it's only two bets more. So we're gonna give him a wide range. No evidence that he is going to 3-bet, but we will give him this tight 3-bet range of aces, kings, and ace king. So we see a flop of queen 10-2, all hearts. We don't have a heart, so all of the heart draws are out. Villain 8 checks. I decide to bet. I don't know if I like this play or not. We are heads up. I kind of feel like it would be better if we just checked behind. Let him bet if he's going to bet. See what villain 8 does and then make our decision. This could be a check call with pocket sixes. We don't really have any backdoor draws. All we're looking for is probably a 6, and a 6 of hearts isn't even that good for us at this point. That being said, we could take a stab at it like we did and hope everyone folds, and if we get called, we just shut down if we don't connect with that miracle 6 of diamonds. That's really what we're looking for, and even if we catch 6, doesn't mean we're going to win. I mean, the flush could already be out there. So what kind of hands do we bet? What kind of hands do we check? I think we can bet our flush, go for some value. Definitely ace high flush. I think the king jack flush, king 9, so these are straight flush draws. I think those could be bet. Although with the aces out there, I think I might be a little bit more hesitant. I don't want to bet, get him call, he folds, and then kind of be in the situation of, well, does he have the ace or not? It's going to be a little bit harder for us to play. So I kind of like betting for value with the aces and then kind of check calling with the king highs and see what happens. I don't think we bet our straights. I think our sets could be bet here, just like 2 pair. I'm not sure about the overpair or the top pair. I think we're going to lean more towards betting the overpair if we have the ace of hearts. Definitely if we have the ace of hearts. So I guess we could say it like this. We could bet with the ace of hearts, get these ace king, ace queen. I think are suitable betting ranges. I think we kind of check call with the second nut and the third nut. I don't think we really want to bet with any of the open-ended straight draws. So we get our flush. We're not betting much. That's like 10%, and that could be about right in this 3-way pot. And then we call everything else. If we're including in additional bets, like a set maybe, Then I think we can include maybe some of these small pocket pairs as a bluff. Not all of them, but maybe our worst ones. You know, the 9 still has some backdoor potential, but something maybe like that as a bluff. That's getting to 24. I still think that's a little too high bet in this case. So that's, I mean, we'll include this. We'll go with that. Both of them call, which is surprising. So I think you've got the potential that both of them are going to be calling a flush. I think both are probably calling sets and 2 pair. I think top pair is going to be called. I think maybe the jacks if they have the jack of hearts. So we're going to include your nut, second, and third nut flush draw, and that's about it. So that's for that player. You can see 33%. We're going to leave the same, like top pair plus for this player, and the same nut, second, and third nut flush draw. He's at 30%. So at this point, I think, you know, we could be ahead some flush draws, but against 2 players, both players to have that flush draw, I think it makes it extremely unlikely. So once we get called, we're shutting down. Ace of hearts comes out. That's interesting because now that eliminates all of the ace X of heart hands that are out there. And, you know, in terms of our hand, that just significantly reduces the strength of our hand. Significantly reduces the strength of our hand. So villain 8 checks. I think we check 100% here. We don't mess around. And then villain checks behind. Really, this is the only guy that matters. What hands is he checking with? Maybe he checks the royal flush, but I think he checks it. I guess the question is, what hands doesn't he check? I don't think the nut flush checks. I don't think the nut flush checks. I think he goes for a little bit of value there. The second nut could check and wait until the river to bet. But the nut flush definitely checks, and I think the royal flush might check as well. Hoping for somebody else to bet. So we'll go with that. River's the ace. That's kind of interesting now. So villain 8 checks. This guy checks. I don't think he's going to check a full house. I really don't. I really don't think he's going to be checking a full house. I think he bets a full house here. I do think he could check the flush other than the nut flush. I think a nut flush goes for a little bit of value here. Second, third, fourth probably just check calling. So we're looking, his range looks something like that. Can we bet here and get folds? I think it's tough. So if we bet, what hands does he fold? He folds, I think, everything except that second and probably third nut flush draw. So the jack and the 9. If that's what it is, so we're at 69% right now. If that's what he folds, it's at 22%. So we're looking at, you know, got 70% fold. 70% fold about. That's good for that guy. What about this guy? If we bet, what happens? Well, I think we're getting raised by all of those full houses. I think the flush, again, I kind of feel like the second and third nut's going to probably call. And then everything else probably folds other than those. So 45% for him. So we're looking at 55% and 70%. So 35% chance that if we bet, everyone else folds, which might be a doable bluff opportunity. Yeah, 35%. We bet half pot to win full pot. We only needed to work 33% at the time. we could bet half pot and try to bluff. I think that could have been the play. So villain behind checks here. If we, I don't think he's checking any of those full houses or royal flushes. Maybe he's checking second nut. Maybe he's checking the third nut. We're looking at something like that. So this could have been a bluff opportunity here. If we kind of think about ranges and think about what's left in the ranges, all of the one pair hands that they could have been playing, and the pairs, you know, like the top pair type hands, what used to be top pair hands, we may have been able to bet half pot, and you know, just as a bluff, and showed some auto profit if our read of what they fold is correct. So it goes checks all around. We've got a king 10 there. We've got pocket 8s there. Where do they fit? So king 10 definitely in. I mean, we have it starting in his range. We did not. We assumed on the flop that he was not going to call with these middle pairs. So if we add them, and I'm not sure why he called in the first place, but he did. He's loose. Now we have our situation where he did not bet second, third. So 75% and then 76%. I take that back. I think if we bet, he calls with all of his flushes. So again, it's about a third is what he folds, or about a 2/3 is what he folds. So it's about 66%, because we went from like 45% down to 25%. That's 50% here, and it could be more. Could be 20% call if he chooses to fold a weak. So that's good. This player, does he have the 8s? He called with the under pair with the heart draw. And I thought we had him here. Oops, that's us. Thought we had him there, so we took out the weak draws, I guess, with all of the pairs. So now that he has those, what hands does he call if we bet here? Well, if this is what we're looking at, so he's got 79.6%. Actually, no. If we call only, if he calls only the second and third, you're at 13%. If he includes the fourth, we're at 20%. So 80% there, 80% fold. So we're about the same, I believe. We're right around that 35%, where I think we could bet half and show some profit. So don't like the c-bet. I really don't like the c-bet. I've got nothing wrong with raising pre-flop, being aggressive. Both players called. We're gonna have to take notes on these players so that we know how they played it. But I think the flop c-bet wasn't that great. Knowing that this player now calls with any pair, probably any pair, or at least second pair, I think we shift to being a little bit more value oriented, especially if we go fire second and third barrels. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.